welcome back to Michigan Insurance Sources, little video podcasting, vlogging I think they call it, our lovely sponsor. And this podcast is about, video cast is about investing or insuring your investment property, presented by, of course, or sponsored by Michigan Insurance Source, and presented by me, the Insurance Hound, otherwise known as Brian Keith. This is part 3 of 3. Yes, you survived the first 2! So now you get to go to the end. Woo-woo! Yay! All right. Hey, here we go. Real estate, income, deductions, equity, appreciation, leverage. What an ideal investment. We already know about this. This is the thing. But we take out the income. We put in insurable. Yes, it's an insurable ideal investment. So in part 1, getting the right quote. Not all quotes are created equal. And part 2, how to read your quote. So you got the right quote. You found the right agent. Now how do you read the damn thing? And that stands for what? So part 3, how does your insurance work with your renters, your contractors, and, oh yeah, those property managers, you know? So there's you, the property owner. You hire a property manager who hires contractors, who deals with the renters. And your property managers might even find you the renters. But you as the owner, you can hire the property managers, you can hire the contractors, and you can even find the renters. What does that mean? Oh, it's a whole tangle weave of things and who goes what, where, and how. But at the end of the day, let's just say this guy, okay, your renter, gets hurt. And it was done by this guy, the contractor. This is how or what could happen. There's your renter. He's going to sue the contractor. Of course he is. Why? Because the contractor was the one that screws up. But he also knows because he called that 1-800, I don't know, I'm going to sue somebody, phone number on TV. And that person says, hey, we're going after the property manager. Why? Because the property manager hired the contractor. And oh yeah, we're going to go next to the property owner. That would be you, the investor in the property. Why? Because you own the property. You hired the property manager who hired the contractor who screwed up on the renter. That's right. Because at the end of the day, you are the owner, and all things may and will fall back on you. What does that mean? Well, when I was a kid, my mom used to always say, something rolls downhill. Poop, crap, shit. Well, as a homeowner, or better yet, as a investor into properties, it rolls down, but it also can roll right back up. So in other words, when it comes to being sued, your lovely renter has a right to sue all three. If the contractor screwed up, the property manager hired the contractor, and the property owner who hired the property manager who hired the contractor. And you all can be sued. So that's where insurance comes in. This is the liability. So in the second video, we kind of talked about the perils, the exclusions, the things that could happen if it goes boom. But we're not talking so much about liability. And this is the big thing. Liability, meaning if you get sued for something, okay, the insurance will cover the bill of not only your attorney, but the liability if it is covered, right? But we don't want to start filing claims on your insurance liability. And because you're dealing with professionals who should be carrying their own liability, there's ways to making sure that your backside is properly covered. And that's kind of what we're going to go over. So as a good business owner, that's what you are. You're a business owner. Although these properties are investments and you might have them under an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp or whatever, it is a business and you are that business owner. You should always have certificates of liability from your vendors. Your vendors being your property manager, your vendors being the contractors that the property managers may hire or you may hire. Those are the vendors. Those are the people you want to make sure are properly insured. So how do you do that? You ask for a certificate of liability. And the top of it looks like this. Now, This lovely little thing up here, Accord. These are standardized forms in the industry, because if not, it'd be all over the place. So we have a standardized form, and it's by Accord. So if you see that, big thing is look at the date when the certificate was issued. Then you can read this lovely little thing up here, and I'm sorry, I got to put on my glasses because, well, yeah, I'm old. Okay, certificate is issued as a matter of information only and confers no rights upon certificate holder. This certificate does not affirmate nor, another big word, armed, to extend alert coverage affordable by the policies below. So in other words, in really simple terms, look, this is presenting to you showing that, yes, we have insurance. That does not make you an owner of their policy. It does not give you any, this is just a certificate. Okay, that's all it is. It's a little piece of paper that says, look, I am properly insured. It should have the company that's doing the producing. It'll have the insured, in other words, the contractor that's dealing with you. That would be your property manager. That would be the contractor doing the work in the house. The agent's name on who to contact, their email, their phone number, and then A, B, C, D, and F. These would be the insurance companies that the insurance is with. Now, remember, this is, like it said, this is a certificate just showing that they have it. You could be added on as additional insured, and we'll get into that, but it must be endorsed. It must be shown on the other part of the certificate. That would be this portion here. This is your liability section, your general liability. This is the biggest one that I want everybody to look at. You got to make sure that they have general liability and minimum of $1 million. Don't go with anything less. Some people go, oh, you can go with 500,000. You can, here's the thing. Shopping for liability is cheap. It is. So understanding liability is cheap, they need to have at least $1 million and $2 million general aggregate. Meaning for any one incident, they'll pay up to $1 million, but combined they'll pay up to $2 million. Okay? It'll show the policy number, the effective dates of the policy. Okay? The name of the insurance company, and additional insured. Now, if you need them to carrying any bond, they can put their bond on this down here. And workman's compensation can also show up. You go, well, Brian, why do I need work comp? What's the whole point? I don't get it. Why am I responsible? Well, that's pretty simple. If they get hurt on the job, depending on what state you're in, because you're paying them, yes, they might be a corporation, they might be their own business, they might be a subcontractor that's doing under a DBA. But understanding that, you might be their only form of income, and that's just your way of scooting around it. So, because the state knows you're trying to scoot around it, you're put on a liable risk unless they can show otherwise. And this is an easy way to get you out of that risk. They show you that they're carrying their own work comp policy. Simple and easy. You can have that done by your contractors. You should have that done by your property manager. Okay? And this gives you a description of the who, the what's, the where's, and the how's. So, then we get down to the bottom. Your name and address needs to be under certificate holder. Okay, and that's where this reads. Now, we'll get back to this a little later on and how it should read. But your name needs to be there. The authorized individual that's showing the certificate, okay, who printed out the certificate, their name is there. These are very common things. We do these all the time, and they're needed. Now, let's get back to the additional insured portion, okay? That needs to be checked. That needs to show right there a nice little X. They could be handing you a certificate that says, yes, I'm insured. But that does not mean you're an additional insured. It just shows that I'm carrying my own insurance. But if you insist to make them as an additional insured, you as the additional insured on their policy, that'll help you later down the line. And you can also, depending on how your policies read or their policies read, waive subrogation. That's a lot of big, long words. Frankly, a lot to talk about. Only thing you got to be concerned about is the additional insured, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay? Here's one big thing. If your property manager wants you to add them on as an additional insured, find another property manager. This came up because I've been looking at property management companies and I've been going to their websites, and these people are sitting there going, well, we must, and we make sure all our properties carry at least $500,000 in liability, and we are added on as an additional insured. Why are you added on as an additional insured? They're working for you, the property owner. You're not working for them. So why should your insurance cover their stupid mistakes? But by doing that, by making them an additional insured onto your policy, they're covering their asses. All right? They're covering their mistakes and their asses with your policy. That's not right. They should be carrying their own liability. They should be carrying their own protection. And you should be an additional insured onto their policy, not the other way around. Okay? Because that's just not right. Go find somebody else. And you can sit there and go, what do you mean? I don't get it. What the hell are you talking about? So you're the property owner. They're working for you. They're finding contractors. They're finding rentals. These are all things that could be a liability risk. Now, mind you, you can do some of that. Okay? And, you know, get into your contracts then saying who finds the renters, who's finding the contractors. But if you're relying on this property manager and to do all this and not to this, why should your insurance cover them? That's a bunch of BS. But the only insurance that might want to cover them is they need to talk to their contractors. And you need to insist on that. So, if your property manager wants you to add on the additional insured, run away. If your property manager wants you to sell part of their master policy, you know, hey, we got this master policy, so instead of you going out and finding your own policy, we're just going to cover neath, we got this really big umbrella. And we're going to, you know, you just pay us, you know, you want $50,000 worth of coverage? Fine. It'll cost you $50 a month on your policy. That's cheap. That's only $600 a year for $50,000 worth of ACV on your home and $1 million worth of liability. Find a new manager. Okay? Now, there are some policies that are out there. They're still falling in the gray area. But when you go back a few screens to this lovely, the top, the insured. Okay? They're going to hand you a certificate probably like this saying, oh, we put you on as an additional insured. But the check from the insurance company will never come to you. Although your name might be added onto it, or may not be, they're the ones that are going to get the check made out to them if your property is damaged or destroyed. Okay? Now remind you, an additional insured, it must be endorsed. So in other words, it has to be written onto the policy. So a checkbox on this section might be there. That doesn't mean you have anything to prove. You got a certificate. All this is, you know, a sample of it. So yeah, you got grounds to going back and suing them, but think about it this way. Let's go back a few more slides. Okay, there's your renter. There's the judge. You're in front of the judge, right? So the contractor screws up. Renter goes after everybody because, you know, that's what their lawyer tells them to do. So you want that to be in a situation where the contractor's policy, because if they have the property manager as an additional insured and the property owner as an additional insured, you want that property, okay, this contractor's policy to be the first one to take the blunt of this lawsuit and cover your legal fees and cover your liability till they can't cover anymore. So once again, $1 million, all right? So here's the problem. If this property manager says, we got this beautiful umbrella policy, and we'll just kind of make you an additional insured. Think about it now, okay? That'll cover them if the contractors needs to go to the next stage, And it might even cover you, okay? But when it gets down to it, as said in that certificate, right, that certificate they might hand over to you, there's no obligation to you. The obligation is to the property manager because they're the insured. So if you end up in a lawsuit, who's to say that they're going to cover you legally? And if you don't have your own policy, well, guess what? Your butt's hanging in the wind, and it's getting awful breezy. So how you really should have it, be an additional insured on your contractor's policy, be an additional insured on the property manager's policy, and create and have your own plan. And do not trust any property manager who sits there and says, one, make us an additional insured, or we'll sell you a portion of our policy. It's a master plan. Don't worry about it. What insurability, okay? What rights do they have to, they just manage your property. They just manage your property. They have no insurable interest. So when it comes down to this lawsuit, you want to make sure your contractors has theirs, your property managers have theirs, and you have yours. So that way, if this guy doesn't cover your butt, then this guy's policy will be the next one covering your butt, and then you have something to cover your butt. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure your business stays in place. Okay? And that renter, sooner or later, if somebody in this pool screwed up, will get paid. You know, how should a cert read? That's simple. So on that bottom portion, it should have your property managers if it comes from the contractor, and your corporation address. So, perfect example, XYZ Property Management and ABC Corporation, which would be you, your address, your city, your state. Okay? If from your property manager you get a cert, it's simple. Your corporation, ABC Corp, your address, and the city and the zip. Okay? But remember, that little box up on the one side, make sure it says an additional insured. So yeah, you're the certificate holder, but that does not mean you're the additional insured. Read all your contracts, and remember, this is the big thing. You got to read all your contracts with your property managers, with your contractors. See how they have set up for insurance purposes. Because remember, the devil is in the detail. Yep, that little sucker is sitting there hiding somewhere. Now, mind you, we see contracts all the time. We see where, our insureds come up to us and says, does this seem right to you? And 9 out of 10 times we're going to tell them no. And if they took it to a lawyer, that lawyer is going to say, no, this stinks. But those property managers have been doing it so there's nobody otherwise telling any different. Oh, that's what Bob does, and Bob does property management, and XYZ does the exact same thing, and this company over here does the exact same thing. Stop. Just because the guy next door is going to jump off his roof into a big bucket of cement does not mean you should do it too. All right? Stupidity is exactly that. Stupidity. So, read your contracts. The devil's in the detail. And if you don't know how to properly read them, then there's going to be one more recommendation we're going to make. If you don't know contracts, then get a good lawyer. Because there's nothing better than killing the devil than with a good shark. A good lawyer, business lawyer, better yet, property lawyer. Persons that deal with properties all the time and no contracts, no rental agreements, no property management contracts. They're going to show that detail. All right? Now, as a courtesy to our clients and as a courtesy to you as our viewers, if you would like a quick overview, now mind you, we're not getting paid for this. We're just going to do it as a courtesy. We are not a lawyer, and we will tell you we do not play a lawyer, but we'll do a quick look over on some of the things that we pick out all the time, and then we will also tell you to go find a good lawyer, because we'll just brush over the top. But if you'd like to, free contract review, we'll be happy to do that for you. But once again, we are not lawyers. We'll just pick and see the things that we normally see, the big mistakes that some people look over. Okay? Such things as, hey, as your property manager, we want to be an additional insured. Go find somebody else or change that contract up. So all you got to do, email me at michsource@gmail.com. That's mishsource@gmail.com. Under the subject line, put CR review, contract review. Okay? And as always, if you like what we did, you like the review, if you kind of like, hey, they did a decent job, share us on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. That way there's going to be other business owners, other people like you, other investors that might see this or might see the first 2 videos, and it'll help them just like it helped you. And if you like a lot of the things that we do, please follow us at Michigan Insurance Source at such places as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We're on all 4. So look us up. You know, we'll have other videos. We're going to help other people. So right now you're looking at your investment property. Maybe the next thing you're looking at is, instead of a home, it might be bigger commercial buildings, because you went from residential to commercial buildings. And we'll have videos out on that. So if you like this, share it. If you want to follow us, please do. We'd love you as people that come back again and again and again. And anytime we can help out, we've said this time in and time out, if you're a better consumer, you're going to be a better client. And that's the point. Be a better client, you're a great consumer, and then everybody's happy. We're happy, you'll stick with us. Or better yet, hey, if we're not a match, we'll make sure you do find the right match, because sooner or later, you should come back to us, because we did right by you. And I don't care if you're in Florida, Texas, California, Utah, find an agency that fits your needs, fits your concerns, and works with you. And that's the reason why we always recommend trying to find an independent agent, because they might have more than one product to fit your needs. You know, you might be that round hole, or that, you know, somebody's trying to jam that square product through you. Oh, it's gonna fit, it's gonna fit. Yeah, no, sorry, nope. I don't care. Unless you're gonna sand it down and lube it up, it ain't gonna fit. You know, it might fit, or you might be paying for things that you just don't need. So there might be people just like you. So please share us and come back, watch some of our other videos, follow us. You know, check out our podcast, check out our video blogs, check out our blogs, see what we got to offer. Maybe it's great, maybe it's not. But hey, thanks for watching. Thanks our sponsors, Michigan Insurance Source, 586-846-3133. You know, we can't do without them. They're the ones that are allowing us to use a conference room, their TVs, their computers, and all the fun stuff. You know, so thanks to them. If you need some products, you want to look up, see if there's something they can help you out with, please give them a call, okay? Hope to see you again. Hope you found some use out of these 3 videos. And if I put you to sleep, I'm not liable for that, okay? So don't go watching these videos while you're driving. Thanks a lot. See you next time.